Okay, this week we are going to be working on solving inequalities. So last week you learned how to graph inequalities, graph systems of inequalities, and then this week we're going to do solving inequalities. Next week we're going to be doing solving systems of inequalities. So those ones last week that you graphed, when you graphed two of them at the same time, we are going to learn about how to solve those next week. This week we're just doing one. Okay, so when we solve an inequality, you are going to solve it exactly the same way that you solve a linear equation. However, there's a special rule. So I would write this down. You guys have probably learned this before, but just in case, we're going over it again. So make sure you write this down. So if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign. So if you're going from less than, it's going to change to greater than. If you're going from greater than, you're going to go to less than. If you're going from less than or equal to, you're going to go to greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to, you're going to go to less than or equal to. So you're just flipping that sign the other direction. Okay, so let's go ahead and do both of these. These are both just one step to get to your final answer. These are from your homework. This is problems 1 and 3. So if I want to solve this first one, I just need to subtract 4 from both sides. And we get negative 4 is greater than or equal to k. And that is my answer. If I want to put this on a number line to graph it, I could have negative 5, negative 4, negative 3. So we have negative 4 and it's greater than or equal to, so it's a filled in dot. And it says that k is less than or equal to negative 4. So k is going to be all of this other side. And it's a little easier if you look at it this way. So k is less than or equal to negative 4. Not negative k, negative 4. Okay, this next one's a little different. We're going to divide by negative 15. However, as soon as I do that, I need to take this sign, because we're dividing by a negative, and flip it the other direction. These will go away. Then I'm left with x. And 210 divided by negative 15 is negative 14. So x is less than or equal to negative 14. So if I have a number line with negative 14 on it, it is an open dot because it's not equal to, and it's everything less than that. Now we're going to do this one just because I want to show you guys that you only change or flip that sign if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. If it is positive, it stays exactly the same. So in this case, we would go ahead and multiply by 13, and our sign would stay exactly the same because it's multiplying by a positive number. So we'd have n. And this is going to be 221. So if we have a number line with 221 on it, 221 is included because it's equal to, and n is everything greater than that. Okay, so let's try a couple more. Remember, these are just like solving linear equations. So this one, I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides first. and we get negative 48. Our sign stays the same because we're just subtracting. We're not multiplying or dividing by a negative number. And then we have 8b. Now we're going to divide by 8. And we are dividing, but it's by a positive number, so our sign stays exactly the same. So we have negative 6 is greater than b. And it's kind of easier if you look at it this way. B is less than negative 6. Those are the same things. But it's just easier for graphing if your variable is on the left side. Okay, negative 6 is not included because it's not equal to, and b is everything less than that. Okay, let's try the other one. So let's add 7 to both sides. We have 9x is less than negative 18. We're going to divide by 9 and get that x is less than negative 2. Remember, we are dividing by 9, but 9 is not negative, so we are not flipping that sign. So we're going to have negative 2. Negative 2 is not included, but everything less than it is. Okay, so this is problem 13 on your homework. The one on the right is not on your homework. I just changed it a little bit just to show you guys the two differences. So this one we're going to add 3 to both sides first. And we get a over 14 is less than 1. We need to multiply by 14. So we get a is less than 14. Remember, we're multiplying by a positive, so that we do not need to change the direction of the sign. Okay, 14 is not included, and a is everything less than that. Okay, now on the problem on the right-hand side, we're going to add 3 to both sides. So that step's the same. Then we're left with a over negative 14. Whoops, not negative 4. Is less than 1. Now here we need to multiply by negative 14. So when we do that, we have to flip this sign because we're multiplying by a negative number. So we have a is greater than negative 14. So we're going to have negative 14. 14 is not included, and a is everything greater than that. So see how our solutions are different just by changing that one number to a negative? We flip the sign, so our arrows are going the opposite directions. Okay, so this is problem 15 from your homework. The one on the left is. The one on the right is just a problem the same problem that I changed so that we can see the differences. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 2 first. My 2's will go away and I'm left with x minus 3 is less than or equal to negative 6. Then I'm going to add 3 to both sides. And x is less than or equal to negative 3. Three is included because it's equal to, and x is everything less than that. Now, let's try the other one. And actually, hold on one second. Okay, some of you may have tried this a different way. You may have distributed this first, and that's fine. You're going to get the same answer. So you'll have 2x minus 6 is less than or equal to negative 12. You're going to subtract or add 6. And divide by 2. So you can see you get the same answer either way. Your graph is exactly the same. 3 is included. and x is everything less than that. Now let's try the other one. So I'm going to divide by -2 first. And when I do that, my -2's go away. But I also need to switch this direction of this sign because I'm multiplying or dividing by a negative number. In this case, we're dividing by -2, so it switches the sign. Then I have x minus 3, and this is going to be 6. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So x is greater than or equal to 9. Nine is included, and x is everything bigger than that. So you can see that it changes the direction of your arrow when you change that sign. So when you multiply or divide by a negative number, it changes the direction that you're going. So if you were going to be going left, it's going to change it to be going right. If you were going to be going right, it's going to change it to going left. So it's kind of like anything. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, it just changes direction. So if I have -12 times -2, it changes that into a positive 24. So that negative changes the sign, it changes it to positive. So you're changing the direction that it's going. You're changing the direction your solution is. Okay, so I'm going to leave off with that. This week's lesson is pretty simple, so it shouldn't take you guys very much time. Make sure you guys email me if you have any questions, and make sure you're doing those homework problems, because really, if you do all of those homework problems, you should be getting 100% or close to 100% on the quiz. This week's stuff is super quick, but if you don't have a good grasp of this stuff, you will not be able to do the stuff for next week. So make sure you email me if you have any questions.